his voice isn't as iconic as Fode's.
I don't care what universe you're from. That guy hurt.
This game makes me feel old. And I don't like that. A battle is happening, you know. What do they say?
I was just waiting to hear your Wolf Yularen impression.
A battle is happening. Who will win?
Oh no, a battle! Your impressions are on fire today. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Last Week in Star Wars. I'm Alex.
I'm Molly.
And we're going to dive right into the news. And this past week, the Emmys started. The actual Emmys ceremony that is televised is going to be tomorrow on Sunday.
I was wondering about that. I was like, we didn't watch the Emmys, but they were announced. So has that always been the case?
So these are the Creative Arts Emmys.
Okay.
And I think they hand out some of the awards early to keep the televised broadcast moving along a little faster.
So then we won't see like a acceptance speech from Michael Wilkinson?
I don't think so.
That kind of sucks.
It does kind of suck.
But still, very happy for the ones that they did get.
Yes. So Andor has already won 4 Emmys, and they're 4 that I'm really happy about. Outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes, outstanding production design, picture editing, and special visual effects. I was really, really hoping that we would get Emmys for Michael Wilkinson and Luke Hull. So I'm very happy about those two especially.
Same. Yeah, like the whole cast and Tony Gilroy, they've all talked so much about what a big task it was to do such a huge production for this season, and the costumes and all the extras was just a lot of work. So glad all that work paid off.
Yeah, and this feels like an award for both seasons, basically. In my heart, it is.
Yeah.
Like, just everything that they did in both seasons was on the same level, and I'm glad that they were recognized.
This is the culmination of seasons 1 and 2, I think, combined.
I'm also, of course, happy about editing and like special visual effects. I was almost like, when I saw they were nominated, I was like, well, they're definitely getting that one.
Sure. ILM knocks it out of the park.
Every time.
Every time.
But I got to speak with Luke Hull during season 1, got to speak with Michael Wilkinson after season 2, and they were both just great to talk to, very enthusiastic. I was happy with how delighted Michael Wilkinson was by some of my nerdy questions. I cracked a joke about how some Star Wars characters wear the same outfit for 30 years. And I was like, so who would you want to give a makeover to? Some Star Wars characters wear the same outfit for years, it seems. So are there any other Star Wars characters that you would like to create a new look for, maybe help them out with their fashion sense?
How interesting. There's certain characters that do wear the same thing all the time. And we had one of them, Orson Krennic. You know, he has his iconic look. He's got his white cape, his ultra iconic villain look. We hadn't seen him on screen for about, 8 years or something like that. So I thought it was important to kind of repeat the iconography of his look whenever we saw him. I did have a chance, though, to sort of have a little bit of fun with that when he goes to this formal event in the evening. And I wanted to create a look for the ISB that was their sort of formal dress evening uniform. So I created another version of Krennic's costume that was made out of much more satiny, creamy fabrics. He had all of the sort of regalia, the shoulder epaulets, the collar pips, the brocade, the military braid across his chest, all sorts of details that sort of helped get this sort of heightened sense, another version of an iconic character.
We've only seen Krennic wearing one thing ever, so it is like, let me put an adjustment there.
He had the pleasure of being the first to really show us what an Imperial officer looked like off the clock with Dedra's outfits.
And he was talking about like all the different shades of white the ISB had.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? Something that I probably noticed subconsciously, but it made me feel like Jerry in Parks and Rec when John Ralphio and Tom show a bunch of shades of black.
And they laugh at him.
He's like, they're all black.
They're all black.
Maybe to the layman, Jerry. Obsidian, Onyx, Midnight, Lost Soul, Rolling Blackout, Sleeping Panther, and Void by Armani. Hey, Jerry, does this look black to you too?
Yeah, there's like some whites are brighter, some are more gray toned, some are warmer toned. So I love the attention to such subtle detail.
There's like a slight difference between what Dedra wears and what Partagaz wears, and like I probably never would have been able to tell you that.
Well, I'm excited to watch the actual Emmys ceremonies on Sunday because there's still up for a few more.
Yeah, obviously we're hoping for Best Drama Series.
That would be amazing.
I think it deserves it. I think it was better than Severance. I feel like that's the big thing it's up against.
Yeah. I want Forrest Whitaker to win for guest actor, but he's up against a lot of big hitters.
If I could only pick one, it would be Best Drama Series. I know Tony Gilroy really wants Best Song.
Oh, yeah.
I love that We Are the Gore is nominated.
I want that for him, too.
Yeah. But taking a look ahead at some future projects, Jim Cummings at a recent convention said, "I think you're going to have to stay tuned because Hondo Onaka is not done yet." Apparently confirming the return of Hondo, which isn't that big of a surprise to me.
He's voiced Hondo in a multitude of projects, right? Like video games,
Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Rebels, The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
VR things.
Right.
Yeah.
So this could literally be about any project, but we've theorized a lot in the past about whether or not we're going to see Hondo in live action.
Right. I wanted to just let's wildly speculate on where we're going to see Hondo next.
I want him in Ahsoka season 2. I really do.
I think that has potential. It's funny that I feel like Hondo could fit in so many projects. I remember back when Obi-Wan Kenobi was getting ready to come out, we're like, Hondo could be in this.
He could be anywhere. He lived for so long.
He lives for so long and he has connections to so many characters. But yes, he very strongly has connections to Ahsoka, to Ezra. Seeing him, honestly, that would be a really cute scene of him, rushing to go hug his old Jedi pirate friend.
If Ezra and Hondo teamed up to go save Sabine and Ahsoka from Peridia.
Hondo was there when Ezra was taken to Peridia. So, they're
an even closer connection.
So
I just got chills.
I know, yeah, feel. They have a close friendship. So I think Ahsoka is very possible. I also think if I were a betting man, I would say Maul Shadow Lord is more likely. But I am waiting for him to pop up in something Mandoverse.
I mean, I feel like when they chose to put him in the parks, I think they knew that meant he was going to live a long time, and then every project that came out, people would be like, well, Hondo's alive.
Yeah.
Where's he at? What's he doing? So I think hopefully they have planned for this. Yeah, I mean, I would love for him to be in both things.
So we know that he loses his pirate criminal empire in between the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. So that could be a story we see in animation. But I feel like tonally he would fit very well in The Mandalorian and Grogu, just as a wacky pirate scoundrel character that Din has to deal with.
Oh my god, imagine him and Peli having a scene together.
Yeah. Honestly, they'd probably be flirting the whole time.
Maybe they have some history.
Yeah. But I do think Ahsoka makes sense for his live action debut, and then maybe we involve him in the big New Republic Thrawn movie at the end.
Please, please, please. I want that so bad. Because I feel like there's a lot of things happening in Ahsoka and probably in season 2 that are going to be very deep and serious. And we need some kind of humor thrown in. And we need him to come in and maybe loosen up the other characters.
I think that's a good point, just to provide some levity. I also just started rereading the original Thrawn trilogy. It's been a while, but I feel like Hondo could kind of take the place of a Talon Card character, someone who helps rally the scoundrels and the criminals to help fight against the Empire. I don't know if Hondo has that much charisma and that much influence, because everyone seems to be annoyed with him all the time.
Sure.
But he could be involved in that.
Yeah.
This past week, we also got the trailer for Beyond Victory, the upcoming mixed reality pod racer virtual reality game. They call it a mixed reality playset. It seems like it's doing a lot.
Doing the most.
Yeah, I mean, you can play a game, but you can also like put models around your room and stuff. And
yeah, there's like little toys, like action figures within the game.
You can set up scenes like around your room. It's kind of cool.
You got to play it at Star Wars Celebration Japan. They did offer for me to play it too, but I didn't want to take up too much time, and we had just gotten there, so we were eager to go do other stuff.
Yeah, they had a demo set up at Star Wars Celebration, so I gave it a shot. It's interesting. Like, a lot of the gameplay, the pod racing specifically, is like a table that kind of is in front of you, and you control the pod that way, like a top-down view. It's not like the pod racer game that I would have wanted. It is still fun, but I don't know. I'm interested. I'm not going to go out and buy a new VR headset just for this, but if a friend has one, I might borrow it.
Yeah, this game makes me feel old. And I don't like that. Because
what makes you feel old about it?
Well, I mean, VR headsets to be purchased and played at home have been around for a little while, but every time I've tried it, I'm like, this is uncomfortable, and like it feels like too much is going on, and I don't really need that much stimulation as far as a video game is concerned. Like, I'd rather just sit and play a normal game like on the Switch or PlayStation. And this is kind of, because it's like a mixed reality, it's taking the VR and like breaking it apart and making it different. And I'm just like a little bit overwhelmed by the idea of how this works. But with that said, anyone who is really into VR stuff, I think will really like it, because it is different, but I think it's different in a good way.
Yeah. Technologically, it is really neat. Like, I did get a headset for the Vader Immortal one that came out. Really liked it, but yeah, it was uncomfortable and you could only play it for a little bit at a time. I was pretty into that one. Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, a little less so. I remember that one hurting my head more for some reason, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not my style of game. Like, some VR I've played has been great, but I haven't really touched I've got the Vive that I haven't touched in like 5 years.
Yeah. So I think who this game is really good for are like people that are into VR, people that already have the MetaQuest 3. I'd say, yeah, definitely check it out. But if you're curious about it, there's probably going to be more gameplay released online.
I mean, I'm sure people will always record the gameplay, and I'm just probably going to watch the story.
Yeah, we're not, like you said, we're not going to buy one.
I think I have a friend that might have one.
We might
so
I could borrow one.
Try to borrow it and give it a go.
Because I had several people comment on an Instagram post about it that were like, I don't plan to buy it, but I can't wait to hear you talk about it.
What does excite me about the trailer is that Gracchus the Hutt is going to be in it, and he's becoming a favorite around this household. Because,
yeah, he's in our D&D game.
Yeah, I put him in our D&D game, and I am liking him more and more. Of course, that's my version of Gracchus, which is probably wildly different from how he'll be portrayed in the game.
I mean, a lot of people are excited for Sebulba, and I am excited for the original voice actor to come back to voice Sebulba. But also, in the StarWars.com article, they said that Greg Proops was coming back to voice Fode. Foden's Bead is their full title, and it's Fode and Bead, and they're the announcer from the Boonta Eve race in episode 1. But I was like, just Fode? What does that mean? And like, I went down a rabbit hole because I was like, does anyone know? Did something happen to Bead? Is he all right?
Bead and Fode are not on speaking terms right now. They're mad at each other.
Would be funny.
They're just like, Yeah. Bead doesn't want to announce pod races anymore, but Fode does want to.
Yeah. And he's got to come along.
I'm sure Bead is going to be in it as well. They're probably just, his voice isn't as iconic as Fode's.
I don't care what universe you're from. That's guy hurt.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
as long as they have someone speaking in Huttese.
It was Scott Capurro
Uh-huh.
was the voice of Bede, so maybe either he couldn't do it, or maybe they were like, yeah, let's just get Greg to do both voices.
Yeah, I bet they didn't even ask Scott because they're like, whoever's in Huttese, like, it's fine.
Or maybe he won't be seen visually and just heard. But
I think that's possible because Greg Proops also voiced the announcer in Star Wars Resistance, which was not Fode, but they kept the voice.
Oh, right, okay.
But they did say specifically it's Fode in Beyond Victory.
That was so strange.
But moving on to last week in canon, we got 2 new comic issues, Jedi Knights issue 7 and Tales from the Nightlands issue 1. Let's start with Tales of the Nightlands because it's spooky season now.
It was great. I loved it a whole lot. Kevin Scott, you nailed it.
That's Kevin Scott has been doing the spooky comics, the yearly spooky Star Wars comics since I think like 2017. This one, I really liked the setup. It was about Padawan Anakin when he was still pretty young and Obi-Wan, and they're going to Ryloth for a funeral. Anakin meets this young girl who wishes she could speak to her grandfather who's passed and says that it's possible because the nightmare conjunction is about to happen.
Conjunction, junction. What's your nightmare?
So she thinks it's a good idea to mystically contact her grandfather during the nightmare conjunction, which is something I think Cavan dropped in Dooku Jedi Lost.
That's right, you mentioned that.
I remember he dropped that name a long time ago. I think he said that Darth Krall like tamed the nightmare conjunction, and it was something along those lines. And I was
such
like,
a
what's
juicy line to drop.
I know. Cavan is really good at dropping that kind of just intriguing Star Wars thing.
And he was like, we'll pick back up with this later.
Yeah, I'll figure out what that is later. Or maybe he knew. The nightmare conjunction is when the veil between life and death is at its thinnest and spirits can be contacted. But really, it just seems like one main spirit, the Nightlander, that wants to come possess this young girl or whoever is around.
Yeah, they're stuck in the void.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
They want to be made whole again. But Anakin is able to stall for time until the nightmare conjunction ends and she fades away. And we find out that this happens every 30 years, which I really liked because that felt very Pennywise. That this evil resurfaces and it has to be dealt with every time. It's a generational thing.
It's so smart to do that too, because then you can do something in each era. You can do it in the prequel era, the original trilogy era, and the sequel trilogy era.
Which, guess what? That's exactly what it's going to do.
Perfect.
The second issue cover is Luke and Leia, and the third issue has Finn on it. So, yeah, I think that's a really fun anthology series to have, where I assume they all have to deal with the Nightlander, but who knows?
And the art style for this comic was really good. The Nightlander, I think, was an original Ian McCaig drawing, like concept art. And so they took that and kind of used that as inspiration to make this. But the art style is kind of like the faces and the characters are a little bit like anime-esque. So I was really digging that.
Yeah.
It looks great.
I like when the art style is a little more heightened and they don't try to be too realistic. The other comic that came out was Jedi Knights issue 7. I really dug this because this series has been kind of bouncing all over the place and following different stories. And this is the first one I can think of where issue 6 ended and then issue 7 picked up right after that, and we kept the story going.
Well, yeah, 6 was like a big cliffhanger with Qui-Gon.
Right. And I was like, are we just going to leave on that for a while? I don't know. So yeah, at the end of 6, Qui-Gon got stabbed for presumably the first time.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that there was like a line or two about like where he was stabbed and like he'll make it, but it's going to be bad. And then we joked about like maybe when he gets stabbed in episode 1, it's in the same spot and like that it was just too much for him to recover from.
I think it's in Not Another Teen Movie. One of the characters keeps getting concussions and they're like, oh, if you get one more concussion, you're going to die. And this is like Qui-Gon has just been stabbed so many times, and the Darth Maul stabbing was his last one.
This stabbing in the comic is a little more intense because it's like a poison.
Yeah. So Mace and Ayla Secura they stabilize Qui-Gon. He is able to say the name of this planet that they go to, and they find an antidote there where they meet a group called the Banished, which they seem to be where the assassin is from. Don't really know why they hate the Jedi or what's going on there
Just
yet.
A bunch of angry people with poison swords.
Right. But they did have the antidote, and they were like, hey, if you help us and basically like kill this monster that's been plaguing us.
Oh, the monster had a great name. What was it? Like Kaiju?
Kaijuya or Kaijuyu.
It was Kaiju inspired, obviously. Yeah. So I liked that.
And those had popped up in like issue 3 of the series on a different planet. So I was like, okay, that's fun that they brought this back.
I was wondering how that was going to play out. And I was like, surely they're not just going to kill this giant creature. And that's exactly what they did. And their excuse was that like, oh, it was in pain. It's not supposed to be here.
I mean, I think it was kind of feral and it was killing people. So
and like there was no way for them to save it and like take it back to where it came from.
And also Qui-Gon was dying. So
true. They were like, crap, we got to do this for them.
But that's basically it. Qui-Gon is put into a medically induced coma so he can recover. So I guess he'll be out of the story for a little while, which I feel like he's been one of the main characters of the series.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of the issues.
Has that Dr. Jedi been in stuff before? I feel like I recognized her.
Yes. She was in season 6 of the Clone Wars.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of rare that we see her.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to be a doctor there.
They got one.
Can't have force healing for everything.
Moving into last week's questions, our first one is from Sarah Black, who asks if we think the Mandalorian and Grogu or Starfighter will have crawls at the start.
Probably. Maybe it's gonna be something more like the crawl that was in Solo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I was surprised you said probably, because I think probably not a full crawl, but yes to. Like a little bit of setting the stage.
A title card is more likely, not a crawl.
I think Mandalorian and Grogu probably doesn't need much. I think people going to see that movie are going to know what they're in for.
Yeah.
I assume they will have watched The Mandalorian. So that might be more like Rogue One, where it's just you get your title and we're going and like keep up.
I don't think Star Wars should be expected to do a crawl or even title cards for everything. Like, I think they were a thing with the trilogies because they're trilogies and the crawl kind of helps tie them together. But we all know what Star Wars is, and if you've seen the trailer, even if you haven't seen the trailers, you can kind of gather like what you're going to be looking at. So I feel like the crawl isn't that necessary anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think Starfighter has a bigger chance of having a crawl. Again, I don't know how much setting of the stage it needs. We don't know how different the galaxy is going to look 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, but they might need to be like the new Republic reigns and like set up a little bit of what's going on.
True.
And it'll be the 50th anniversary, and I could see maybe them just being like, for our 50-year movie that's coming out, like maybe we put a crawl in it.
I think what would be an interesting way of doing the crawl, just to make it a little bit fresh and new, they should put a really punchy scene in right off the bat and then do a crawl.
That'd be interesting. I kind of like that.
I do too.
Especially if they, just to mess with us, like Starfighter could do this too, like a big space dogfight happening, and then like the debris goes away, and then we see a crawl.
Crawl starts.
That's good. I got chills again.
Ooh. Hire me, Lucasfilm. I got good ideas.
I also, we were commenting on Alien Earth, which is coming out. I've enjoyed how they do their previously on.
Yes.
Which is just showing you flashes and scenes from the past episodes without dialogue, while the title slowly comes into frame.
Yeah.
I don't know that they could do that in Star Wars, but yeah, just finding a creative way to express what we need to know.
Right. It's not like the previously on the Clone Wars where it's like, a battle is happening, What do they say?
I was just waiting to hear your Wolf Yularen impression.
A battle is happening. Who will win?
Oh no, a battle!
That sounded a little bit like Goofy.
That came off Goofy.
But yeah, it's not like they need to introduce it like with a voice, but with no dialogue, just the title card music and that song in Alien Earth is so good. It's a much better way to remind people like, hey, this is vaguely what's going on.
I really like your idea of starting with a dogfight that transitions into a crawl. I think that's really cool. Part of me, even though I do think there's a chance for the 50th anniversary movie to have a crawl on it, we do know that another full trilogy is on the way. I think they might be saving crawls for that. I'm also like, with Dawn of the Jedi, I think it would be cool if they did a crawl with a twist again, like just to make it seem more old, more ancient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that would be, but I don't know. At this point, I kind of hope that they mix up how the crawl looks and feels.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Joshua David Earhart asks how we think the Imperial Shadow Council will react to Thrawn's return. Now that he's back at the end of Ahsoka, I think we're probably going to start dealing with the fallout of that in Mando and Grogu, and definitely in Ahsoka.
I can't remember. Did they bring that up? Did they talk about Thrawn?
Yeah, so Captain Pelion was part of the Shadow Council, and he had Thrawn's 7th Fleet patch on, and he mentions Thrawn's imminent return. And I feel like some of the other council members like rolled their eyes.
Okay,
like,
so...
oh yeah, Thrawn's coming back, okay.
So the other council members maybe don't really think it's going to happen.
I think there's some skepticism, and then I think Gideon says something about how we need to stop waiting for Thrawn, and a lot of the other council members kind of like get these really evil looking grins. Like I think they all want to fight for their own slice of the pie.
Right, yeah, they're chomping at the bit to do whatever it is they want to do, and they don't want to sit around waiting for Thrawn to come back. So I think they're going to be annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were rumors that one of the council members was going to be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So I think there's potential to see what he's up to. Maybe he's trying to consolidate power before Thrawn comes in and takes everything over.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of interesting if he is rising in power, so the New Republic is like, hey, Mando and Grogu, go take him out. And they do, which actually winds up helping Thrawn.
Yeah.
Like that would be a fun back and forth.
I could also really see them butting heads with the idea that Thrawn is working with the Night Sisters on Dathomir. And I bet no one in the Empire or the Imperial Remnant is going to be cool with that. They're going to be like, what? No.
That's a good point. I think it's interesting that he's going to have this completely different outlook on stuff because he's been gone for so long.
Be like, I got these chicks that can see the future. They got zombies. Like, y'all, the future is now.
That's exactly how he talks too. It's crazy. Your impressions are on fire today.
You can Photoshop me blue.
You do it.
No, I don't know how.
For our last question, Joshua M. asks how our TTRPG game is going.
Oh, I see what you wanted to put in here.
Yeah,
at the
I want
end.
to talk about it. I mean, people are asking. People want to know.
It's true. We were supposed to have another episode filmed the other day, but we had to reschedule, so we're kind of getting antsy.
Yeah. We're about to record our 5th session. So we've recorded 4. Editing is real slow going. And part of the reason I wanted to do this is kind of a test run to see what equipment we need, how it all works, and how to edit it. And editing has been incredibly slow because of sound issues, really. So now I know, like, okay, before I start editing visually, I have to like really nail the sound, because I mean, we're talking about our first session was only an hour and a half long. They only get longer. Mm-hmm. And it's taken me a long time to get through session 1. I'm close to done editing it, but then I want to go in and add some graphics and maybe some art. And yeah, I'd say it's slow going, but I do plan to put it out. And also we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it's another piece that makes the editing hard is it's kind of like our setup here. We have 3 different camera angles. So with that many people talking and having conversations, that is a lot to also edit back and forth from.
Yeah, the main thing though is that the audio just came out with a little bit too much reverb, so I'm going through and like manually muting people when they're not talking and deleting those audio tracks, and that's just been a lot. So I need to really refine how we record audio, and I think that gets better and better.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. And I think everyone will really, really enjoy it when it is finally edited and out, even if there are some weird audio stuff.
Yeah, it's goofy, it's silly, which is what I want. Like, it's set in Star Wars, but everything is low stakes and just we're allowed to run wild and be very fun with it, which I have been enjoying a lot. But that's it for last week in Star Wars. Next week, we're going to cover Star Wars issue 5 and the first issue of Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.